All right, welcome back to the deep dive. You ready to dive into a new topic?
Always. What are we exploring today?
Dreams. But not like, what does a snake in your dream mean or anything like real how they affect us stuff.
The science of dreams. Yeah, there's some fascinating stuff coming out about that.
Exactly. Like seriously, how do they impact like, our emotions or even things like social skills or I don't know, even mental health?
Right. For a long time, dreams were just seen as this random side effect of sleep, right? Like almost meaningless. But now, like you said, that view is changing and we're learning how vital they are for things like emotional balance, especially those dreams that happen during what's called REM sleep.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of REM sleep, but like what's so special about it when it comes to dreams and our feelings and stuff?
Well, during REM sleep, something really cool happens. Our brains basically hit the off switch on the stress response system. Like, imagine finally getting a break from all the day's anxieties. And during that break, that's when dreams come in. They're not just random images, they help us sort through those emotions.
So it's like our brains are, I don't know, like decluttering our feelings while we sleep. Is that a good way to put it?
That's a great way to put it. And there's actual evidence to back that up, too. There was this one study where people looked at all these emotionally intense images, right? Some folks had to sleep afterward, others didn't. Then they all looked at the pictures again.
I bet the ones who slept were like way less freaked out.
You got it. The ones who slept, especially the ones who hit REM sleep, they were way calmer the second time around. It was like their brains had already processed some of that emotional baggage.
Kind of like, I don't know, overnight therapy. I feel like that's true. A bad day always feels less bad after I've slept well.
Exactly. And it's not just a feeling. They actually saw less activity in the amygdala, that's the emotion center of the brain, for the people who slept.
Whoa, that's wild. So like REM sleep really helps us chill out about all those strong emotions. But does it, I don't know, does it matter what we dream about? Or is it just like being asleep that's important?
That's a fantastic question. And it turns out what you dream about does matter. Another study, this one looked at people going through breakup or divorces, and those who specifically dreamt about those experiences, they actually bounced back emotionally faster.
Really? So like confronting those tough emotions in your dreams helps you deal with them better. That's unexpected.
It is. It's like by working through those feelings in their dreams, their brains were able to process it all more effectively.
Huh, that's amazing. So REM sleep is like this super powerful tool for handling emotions. But what about when things are more serious, like trauma and stuff? Does REM sleep, I don't know, factor into that at all?
Oh, absolutely. And that's where it gets even more fascinating. With things like PTSD, right, where traumatic memories keep their emotional sting, a lot of that seems to be tied to disrupted REM sleep.
So you're saying like if you don't get enough REM sleep, the trauma could actually feel worse?
That's what the research suggests, yeah. And this is where we get to this really cool story about a doctor, Murray Raskind. He was treating PTSD patients, and, well, he kind of stumbled upon something amazing.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. What happened?
So he was using this blood pressure medication called prazosin, and he noticed it wasn't just helping their blood pressure, it was also reducing their nightmares. Like, significantly.
Wait, what? A blood pressure medicine helped with nightmares. How is that even possible?
Well, it turns out prazosin calms down that same stress response system in the brain, the one that gets switched off naturally during REM sleep. So by giving the medication, he was essentially mimicking what happens in REM.
So it was like accidentally giving people the benefits of REM sleep, even if they weren't getting it naturally? That's incredible.
It is. And get this, the accidental discovery, it actually led to the FDA approving prazosin specifically for treating nightmares in PTSD patients.
Wow. That's proof that understanding dreams can lead to, like, real medical breakthroughs, right?
Exactly. It really shows how powerful this stuff is.
Mind-blowing. Clearly, there's a lot we don't know about dreams, but it sounds like REM sleep does a lot more than just, help us deal with emotions. What about its impact on other areas of our lives, like, I don't know, social skills?
Excellent point. You're totally right. REM sleep isn't just an emotional thing. It also plays a huge role in how we understand and connect with other people.
Are you serious? You're telling me dreams can make us, like, better at reading people in real life?
You got it. There is this study where they used pictures of faces, but with these really subtle expressions, like barely noticeable differences between looking friendly or threatening.
Okay, tell me more. I'm totally hooked.
So the people who were well rested, they were amazing at picking up on those tiny differences, like super accurate.
And what about the people who, like, hadn't slept enough?
They basically saw everyone as threatening. They missed all those important emotional cues.
It's like their brains were on high alert all the time, and they couldn't tell who was actually dangerous or not, right?
Precisely. They couldn't accurately read those subtle signals.
Yeah, I see how that could cause problems. Like, imagine misreading someone's face and thinking they're angry when they're not. That could lead to all sorts of arguments and misunderstandings, I bet.
Absolutely. Think about how crucial that is, in relationships, at work, even just for our own safety. Misreading those cues can have huge consequences.
I bet this is especially important for teenagers, right? They're like navigating this whole new level of social stuff.
You're spot on. This whole emotional tuning effect of REM sleep, it's super critical during adolescence. Think about it. They're trying to be independent, figure out who they are, and the social world is way more complex now. Being able to read people well is essential for all of that.
Totally makes sense. Okay, I'm ready to hear more about that teenage sleep thing. What's next? Okay, so we've talked about how REM sleep helps us process emotions and like even tune our social radar, making us better at reading people and stuff. But there's something else, another benefit that we haven't really touched on yet. And this one might surprise you.
Oh, lay it on me.
Turns out REM sleep can actually boost our creativity and our problem-solving skills too.
That's right. Have you ever had that, aha moment where a solution to something that's been bugging you just pops into your head after a good night's sleep?
Oh yeah, totally. I've had those moments of inspiration, for sure, especially after a good rest. But is there like actual science behind that? Or is it just, I don't know, one of those things people say?
No, there's definitely research to back it up. One area that's really interesting is lucid dreaming. You familiar with that?
Kind of. I think I've heard of it.
So it's basically when people become aware they're dreaming and they can actually control what happens in the dream.
Whoa, hold on. You're saying people can like consciously direct their dreams? That sounds like, I don't know, something out of a movie.
It might sound wild, but researchers are looking into it, like using lucid dreaming to help people overcome creative blocks or even work through complex problems.
Okay, that is officially blowing my mind. Imagine if we could all like tap into that creative power while we sleep. But let's be real. Most of us aren't, master lucid dreamers or anything. Is there anything we can do to, I don't know, encourage those creative sparks, even if we're not like controlling our dreams?
Absolutely. There are definitely things you can do. We don't have all the answers yet, but we do know that certain sleep habits and just creating the right environment can help.
Okay, give me the goods. What are some tips for like getting the most out of those creative dream benefits?
Well, first and foremost, prioritize getting enough sleep. I know. Easier said than done, right? But most adults need somewhere between 7 and 9 hours of good quality sleep for their brains to function at their best.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's tough, but definitely worth trying to get enough sleep.
For sure. Another thing you can try is a relaxing bedtime routine, like take a warm bath, read a book, listen to calming music, anything that signals to your brain that it's time to wind down.
Oh, I'm all about the bedtime routine. A little self-care before bed goes a long way.
Absolutely. And of course, try to avoid caffeine and alcohol before bed. They might seem relaxing at first, but they can mess with your sleep cycles and prevent you from getting that all-important REM sleep.
Noted. Anything else for boosting those creative benefits?
This one might sound a little bit, but try not to stress about it. Sometimes the more you force creativity, the harder it is to find. Just focus on setting yourself up for a good night's rest and let your brain do its thing.
That's good advice for life in general, I think. Trust the process, right? Okay, before we wrap up this whole dream discussion, I want to go back to something we touched on earlier, the whole teenage sleep deprivation thing. You were saying that REM sleep is especially important for teens, for their emotional and social development. Can we dive a little deeper into that?
Absolutely. One of the things we've been looking into is how early school start times are contributing to that sleep deprivation.
I've heard about that. It seems kind of crazy to make teenagers wake up so early when we know they need so much sleep.
Yeah, it does seem a little backwards, doesn't it? Studies show that when schools start early, it forces teens to wake up before their natural sleep-wake cycles are ready, and that can lead to, well, chronic sleep deprivation, basically. And as we've seen, that can impact everything from their mood and schoolwork to their even their physical health.
So it's almost like, I don't know, we're setting them up for failure from the start.
It's a valid concern, for sure. And the research supports it. Later school start times have been linked to, improvements in grades, better moods, even fewer car accidents. It's a win-win all around.
That's amazing. Why haven't we made that change already? What's the holdup?
Well, there are a few reasons. Logistical stuff for schools and families, some pushback from parents and administrators, that kind of thing. But the evidence is pretty clear, and more communities are starting to see how important it is.
That's good to hear. I mean, it's obvious that prioritizing teenagers' sleep is crucial, not just for them, but for everyone. They're our future, after all.
I couldn't agree more. And, this brings us to a bigger point about respecting our natural sleep rhythms, no matter our age. In today's world, it's so easy to see sleep as a luxury, something we just squeeze in whenever we can.
But as we've learned today, sleep is way more than just rest. It's about giving our brains the chance to do all this important work that keeps us emotionally balanced, socially connected, and mentally sharp.
Well said. And honestly, this is just the beginning. There's so much more to learn about the power of dreams and sleep. But even with what we know now, it's clear that we need to start treating sleep as a fundamental part of our health, like a priority.
Yeah, it's like we've been thinking of sleep as, I don't know, like an optional thing, when really it's like essential. Like you can't build a house without a good foundation.
Perfect analogy. And speaking of building, as we wrap up our deep dive into dreams and all this, I want to leave everyone with a little something to think about.
Okay, hit me with that thought-provoking question.
Well, we've seen how crucial sleep is, right? Especially that REM sleep for, our mental and emotional well-being, everything. It's not just about feeling rested. It's about letting our brains, I don't know, process stuff, work through things, even get more creative. So the question is, what can you change in your life to make sleep more of a priority?
Ooh, good one. That's worth thinking about. I mean, it could be small stuff, right? Like setting a regular sleep schedule, maybe putting the phone away an hour before bed, making sure the bedroom's dark and quiet.
Exactly. It's about realizing that sleep isn't a luxury. It's an investment in yourself, in how you feel.
And who knows, maybe you'll even, I don't know, wake up with a brilliant idea or something. The power of dreams, right?
That's the spirit. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference.
This has been so fascinating. Seriously, my whole view on dreams has changed.
Glad to hear it. It really is amazing how much we're still learning about, I don't know, that whole world inside our heads.
Well, huge thanks to you for, sharing all your expertise with us.
My pleasure.
And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the power of dreams. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, sleep well.